Hi everyone, and welcome to a special edition of Oasis Weekend Review. As you know, we've been to Dappcon this last week in Berlin, so this is going to be the Dappcon edition of Oasis Weekend Review. And for this, I invited a couple of team members today. We have Matej, BD Manager, Will, Ecosystem Growth Manager, and Harry, our lovely engineer and technical product manager for OPL and Sapphire. I'm sure you're all familiar with them by now. You've seen our faces everywhere. So, yeah, first of all, I would like to focus on the hackathon, which has been a total success for us. We're five participants away from reaching the 1,000 participant mark. So, great news. Thank you, everyone who joined. And the registration closes on October 4th. So, make sure you hand in your projects. We've already have a lot of great submissions, so I'm very excited about what's going to be deployed on Sapphire. Um, and let's focus a little bit on Dappcon. So the events that went on at Dappcon, we've announced our support for Ocean Protocol's Predictor Dapp, which is a crowdsourced on-chain platform for making and verifying predictions. And of course, using Sapphire, the privacy preserving runtime, user integrity is protected, keeping user prediction data private until specific conditions enable data sharing. So great news. Ocean is excited to work with us. We're excited to work with Ocean. We've met their team and we had a lot of fun with them. And I want to give a shout out to Cassie, their head of marketing. Cassie has just been great with us in Berlin. And while we're giving shout outs, I would like to give a shout out to Matthias from Aragon. Such a great guy. We had a lot of fun with him. Of course, like we did have a lot of side events in Berlin as well. We co-hosted the tacos with Nerif on last Tuesday, and there were a lot of people there. We made a lot of connections. We had our partner dinner, which was also awesome. And we ended the week with a pub crawl. I had to leave early because I was traveling back to Romania, but Matej might tell you more about that. Will also, yeah. And great news for the community. We've launched the Oasis Sentinels program, and thank you to everyone who's been supporting us, and thank you for being so patient. But we really wanted to make it the best program it can be. We'll have a new platform for the ambassadors. We'll have plenty of educational resources for them, training sessions. So we want to make sure that you guys can be the best you can and come out with new knowledge from this program and new opportunities in Web3. Last week, we also announced the deployment of Illuminex, formerly known as Ars Protocol, which is the first confidential multi-chain DEX built on Sapphire. So great news there. Again, everything I'm saying, you can find blog articles on our website regarding this. We've also had a Twitter space yesterday with Illuminex, so you can check that out as well. And yeah, I would kind of give the floor to Matej and Will and Harry because they're eager to share news from Dappcon because they had more connections with project than I did. So
Yeah,
yeah.
so thank you, Mihnea, for the intro. Yeah, that sounds really amazing. Even though it was maybe slightly smaller, because it was happening at the same time as Token 2049, we saw that there was a lot of quality, in terms of not just quantity, it's always quality over quantity. So we met a lot of developers, a lot of teams building, the likes of the Graph, Gnosis Pay. There was let me check my Telegram. We met with Hacken, then it was there was an interesting one that's doing. Let me just find them. Sorry about that. A few Power Pool, yeah, was an interesting one. Then I think it's one is a DAO that's operating actually in the ocean ecosystem. It's called Delta DAO, and they're very interested in using Oasis as a privacy preserving tool as well, right? So I would say that there's a lot of interest coming from other projects, because everybody sees the problem of complete transparency, right? That maybe certain applications need that privacy, but at the same time the verifiability of the blockchain, right? So I would say for us in BD it was a big success, And as you mentioned, the dinner and the pub crawl, I think really helped get had those relationships flowing, right? Together with the juices. I'm just joking. So yeah, I would say Dappcon was really great. Even Protocol Berg happening at the end of the week, right? Which is kind of like, I think in Berlin, was very good in terms of the quality of the workshops and what was presented there. So I would say a very successful event for us in terms of getting to know new people, new projects, making those connections that will push the adoption of Sapphire and OPL forward. Yeah.
Thank you, Matej. Yeah, Will. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, my experience very much echoed Matej's. I would say like the thing that was the most notable, like most palpable, was just like how many people were interested in privacy as in comparison to like some conferences maybe a year ago. It seemed like everyone was really starting to understand the use cases of privacy, not just for like private transactions, but in these sort of ways to create confidential compute that would benefit their protocols, sort of less about anonymity and more about just making their applications more sophisticated, more complex, and able to compete with Web 2 counterparts. So yeah, that was very notable, and some message that we've been sharing for, pretty much a year and a half at this point. So it's just exciting to see that the industry is moving in that direction and starting to hear that message. I would say that like in terms of like use cases and projects, there was like three that really stood out. I would say off-chain data management and using like the Oasis Sapphire Key Manager in order to do some interesting things with data management and data storage. There was a few projects that were in that space, and we're pretty interested in the benefits that Sapphire would have in that sphere. The other one that was pretty notable was for basically using Sapphire to create confidential trading or portfolio management strategies, so that like you could maybe copy trade some people, or you could create some sort of yield bearing strategy. But not like share exactly what that strategy is. But Sapphire would essentially, be able to manage manage your portfolios across different chains in a confidential way. So there was a few use cases that were interested in that, and yeah, those were like probably the two largest ones. And then there was a few also in like the governance space using confidential voting, which again, just to say like maybe a year ago, people were not really thinking about governance and why it needed privacy. And now it seems that when you mention it, when the people come to your booth, or whether you're having a conversation, it really clicks with people pretty much immediately. So it's just great to see that sort of the narratives that we've been talking about, and the use cases that we've been talking about for a year and a half now, are really starting to take hold, and people are starting to see the value in them in the Web3 community. So those were like the biggest, I guess, like BD sort of experiences that I had. In general, though, I would just say that like we met a lot of amazing people at Dappcon, and these events are just great for networking, for seeing the Web3 trends, for getting to know protocols, because you also never know like who might be beneficial down the line. And so I'm happy to that we got to participate in this great event, and we've already started setting up meetings and talking about people, like, can we see them at SmartCon? Can we see them at DevConnect in Istanbul? So yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a lot more announcements and a lot more updates coming down in the future.
Sure. I mean, from my perspective, as on the product side, it's definitely one of these moments where everyone sort of comes together and tries to align on what's coming next. What are the challenges that they're having with like the technology stack that they've chosen? And like Will said, definitely privacy is becoming more and more recognized as being a real legitimate problem in the industry as a whole, especially with the amount of phishing, the amount of sort of maleficent actors on the blockchain that are all harvesting your data. But really, I'm looking at more of like what's the general direction this is going in. So I know Will and Matej and some of the partners have had like the boots on the ground talking to people about what are the challenges that we have here. And one of those is really like compliance. The EU is introducing verifiable credentials in 2025, which is going to be all over Europe as like national ID schemes. It's already been trialed with COVID, and of course, your private information on the blockchain is there forever. So we need to look at ways that applications can verify that you are a real citizen without having these huge like data lakes of personal identifiable information, and have interoperability between these. So just like a Web3 alternatives to Web2 problems that I think other products that are based on MPC and fluid homomorphic encryption and ZK, people are realistically running into some serious development problems where it's going to take months, potentially years, or they find out it's actually a research problem and needs some mathematics, where we're really, really well positioned to hit that niche and say, we have cross-chain, we have privacy, we've got a much simpler sort of development process. And as the use cases come on with like intents and DAOs and verifiable identity, it's all sort of coming together. And Oasis is very, very well positioned for this.
I think we can totally echo what you guys said. Like, yeah, privacy has definitely risen up in interest. We've seen this at Dappcon, a lot of great developers there. Granted, from my side, the community side, I haven't met a lot of community builders, but I can't wait for SmartCon. And honestly, the conference bug has kind of caught on me, so I'm gonna be trying to attend more and more of these conferences. But yeah,
if I can just can I just highlight the Ocean Predictor product launch as well. So I think that one was a really nice showcase of how Sapphire can be used. The product needed private storage, and they saw that Oasis Sapphire is the easiest to build on, the only confidential EVM blockchain in production right now. So it was really exciting to see it, presented at the big stage, and then also when we were invited to their side event, to present what Oasis is, what Oasis does, what can be done with Sapphire and OPL. It was very, very well received, so we can see a lot of synergies there, and hopefully the partnership will be going to be other products of Ocean as well, but nothing there concrete yet. But yeah, I just wanted to highlight that as I think that was one of the key moments for us at Dappcon. Yeah.
Yeah, what really stood out to me about Ocean and that was really exciting, was that Ocean is sort of using Sapphire for all of its different benefits, right? So they're using it for like the ability to do confidential computation, and aggregate that confidential data. They're using it for the flexibility that comes with it, so that you have to keep it private from some people, but also make it available to the people that are calling the Ocean APIs. And just like, I don't know, overall, and then I guess like doing this all in a way that's decentralized, permissionless, and non-custodial. I guess they just like really like leverage Sapphire for all of its potential, and that was really exciting for me. It's a great proof of concept for anyone who wants to start building on Sapphire, and like wants to see where the benefits are. Ocean is a great way to sort of get us out of the gate with that.
Something that I would jump in as well with is like in terms of use cases, a lot of these you've got different types of teams with different kinds of technical abilities, and if we're looking at like what's the next sort of big features that are coming out for Sapphire next year, being able to talk to people in person and have some longer sessions where we can do some idea storming and look up where is this all heading. Like for me, I think a lot of the problem, especially with like Predictor, is when you see the presentation and you speak to Trent, for example, it's really, really articulate, and I'm surprised that it's not getting more attention than it is. So being at these conferences is it's really, really valuable for us to be able to pick out these like strategic partnerships that are like diamonds in the rough, and to be able to like align with everybody else and you know, get the pitch that you might have overlooked the project before because you just didn't hear the 4 or 5 words that make it all make sense to you.
Yeah, well, a lot of great inputs today, and again, thank you guys so much for agreeing to join me for this session. Um, you've made it much more easier for the community to understand what what we did at Dappcon. And I'm gonna be bugging you from now on for other weekend reviews as well. And yeah, I almost forgot because you mentioned Token 2049, Matej. We did have 2 team members who went to Token 2049, so I'm gonna try to invite them to the next weekend review session so they can tell us more about it. We did make a post on Twitter, but it would be better if they were in person and told the community what happened at Token 2049. I'm sure it was amazing as well. But that's kind of it for the weekend review. I know the session was longer than usual, but we did have a lot of updates, so we decided to do this. Again, thank you, Matej, Will, Harry, and you, the community. We're going to be seeing each other around on Discord, Telegram, Reddit, and yeah, thanks so much, guys. Bye.
Thank you, Mihnea.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.